This podcast contains explicit content.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
That's right, because everyone in this house loves pizza.
Wow, I forgot that intro is much shorter than it was 3 weeks ago. We are Hardly Focused, the podcast called Hardly Focused. Jack Hill, Mike Torraro. We are presented by the Solid Listen Podcast Network. You can find us at hardlyfocused.com. We are on your favorite podcast app. We are on YouTube. Just search for Hardly Focused. Coming up in this episode, we may talk about a video game that's finally coming to PC nearly 15 years after its initial release. We might
Leisure Suit Larry?
Yes.
Okay.
And we may also discuss an actor who claims he died in 2020 and what that felt like. We may also get to the
Paul Walker.
And also Ryan Dunn. We may also get to the presidential candidates appearing or backing out of media appearances.
Oh.
But first, Mike Torrara, hello. What is new with you?
Crap. I don't know. I don't think anything's new with me. Question mark. Cam went to his 6-month appointment. He got some shots and he's good.
Oh, cool.
That's about it.
Awesome. I've met Cam finally.
Yep.
I've held him. He stared at me much like how you stare at me when you question what the fuck is wrong with me and what I'm doing.
Yep. He learned that stare from me because he's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I know, buddy. I know.
I like how you seemed like you were put on the spot when I asked what's new with you. Like, I didn't have anything planned. There's nothing
like,
new.
I don't know what's new.
It's all old, man.
Yeah.
It's like me. It's all old. Well, you were in New York.
Not much. Yeah. Yeah. When I was in New York, was it 3 weeks ago at this point?
Yeah. And that was fun, I trust.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was intense down and up. We did make a quick stop at the Reese's, or technically I guess it's the Hershey store. But we walked by on the way to Hamilton, and I was like, I mental note, we're stopping there on the way back. And it is, they have a giant make your own Reese's cup.
Oh.
Yeah. You pick 4 things to mix into the peanut butter part and 2 toppings, and then they seal it, and it's not something to eat in one sitting.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
I mean, no, you can eat it in one sitting. You should not. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah,
dude, I love Reese's anything, and it was either this Easter or last Easter, Becky's mom gave us like a giant package of the Easter bunnies, like the peanut butter filled Easter bunnies. And I love those things, but I ate so many of them that like every time I look at them now, I get a little repulsed.
You're like, I shouldn't be eating this.
I mean, and I still will. That's the thing. But they just like, it's more of a chore, if anything. But there's something about like the holiday themed Reese's, the ones that are shaped like the bunnies or the pumpkins
Or the poop.
Where the consistency.
Is that a pumpkin? Is that a tree? It just looks like a poop. I don't know what it is, but it's good.
Well, do you remember there was that woman or that guy, or maybe both, who were really upset about the pumpkin shaped Reese's and actually sued because like the shape didn't accurately represent a pumpkin?
I believe I heard that. Yeah.
It's an example of how, well, it's 2 examples. One, it's an example of how some people just have far too much time on their hands. And it's also an example of how in America, as it was put in Grand Theft Auto 3, you can sue for pretty much anything and you'll probably win or at least get a settlement.
It sounds about right.
But I feel the consistency of the peanut butter inside those themed Reese's candies, it's not the same as the traditional circular jagged edge peanut butter cup.
That would be true, but I mean, you're also mixing a lot of stuff into it as well, so it's kind of like this whole experience.
and it's still jagged around the edges, right?
Oh yeah.
Imagine if it was smooth. You can't, can you?
You're not supposed to. Just no, sir.
Well, that sounds like fun. That's near Broadway.
Oh yeah, like right next to, like right off of Times Square.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Walk by. I'm like, oh, we got this.
Man, I haven't been to that part of New York in a very, very long time. But
generally speaking, you're not missing anything.
What are you talking about? A $70 meal at TGI Fridays?
Absolutely, you're right.
For one?
Yeah.
Because the prices are just jacked way the fuck up in Times Square.
But it's all about being there and the experience.
And seeing the naked cowboy and
15 Elmos and Spider-Mans and yeah.
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 See, I like
there's actually signs there that something about I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's like an actual like police sign that says roughly the people that are walking around taking pictures cannot demand money from you. Yeah. Yeah, they're not allowed to demand money. I'm like, okay. That's the fact that it has to be signage now. Eesh. I mean, it's probably still better than what it used to be back in the 80s, but whatever.
Sure, which ironically, now didn't Rudy Giuliani fix all that?
I think he kind of finished fixing it up. I think it started maybe before him or a little earlier, but yeah, he kind of made sure it was like it did the Disneyfication of, yeah.
In other words, he paid off the mob.
Hey, take care of this.
You didn't see nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I really enjoyed Times Square when they had the big Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer. It had a Ferris wheel in it and a really cool Jurassic Park section. And it also had, I can't remember if it was Tower Records or the Virgin Megastore, but I
think it's the Virgin Megastore.
Okay. I went there right, like, it was a few weeks from closing, so everything was heavily discounted. I remember, like...
Cleaned them out.
Yeah, well, this is still during a time when CDs were quite prominent, but was it like Columbia House or whatever? You pay $1 and you get...
You get 15 CDs?
Yeah, that's pretty much me at Virgin Megastore as it was closing. Didn't spend a lot of money.
One of you, and two of you.
Yep. Well, I was in Brooklyn on Saturday and drove from Worcester to Brooklyn and then back all in the span of 12 hours.
Sounds about right.
About 12 hours. Hit traffic going down there because I was stupid and took 95. And it was what I like to call drive like Helen Keller day. So several accidents I passed along the way, but Connecticut sucks. The drivers in Connecticut suck. The drivers coming in and out of New York City
you can just say Connecticut in general. Connecticut sucks.
Yep. So
New England doesn't want them. New York's like, I don't want them either.
It's like the forgotten stepchild.
Oh, they're not forgotten. They're quite remembered.
Sure. Accidents everywhere. Was going down for a concert. It got there like literally just in time. Just in time for the co-headliner. And I think they had already played one song. So like usually my timing is good where I can walk in just as they're coming on stage, but was able to take that in. And of course, I would run into people, and I didn't know them beforehand, but all people who are from Boston who could have seen these two bands. It was the Jesus and Mary Chain and Psychedelic Furs, who played in Boston on like last Thursday. So you could have seen them at the Orpheum, but we all had the same idea. Drive to the Brooklyn Paramount on Saturday instead and see them there. But it was a good time. And the Brooklyn Paramount, Mike, if you ever get a chance to go to a show there, that is such a beautiful venue. And
I'm sure that is top on my list of getting things taken care of is going to Brooklyn.
I'll watch your kids. How about that?
Okay. All right. Okay. In that case, then yes, sure.
And And there's a really good restaurant called Junior's is right across the street if you want your authentic New York cheesecake. But yeah, I did the same thing. I did New York and back in the span of half a day.
It's fun. It is.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It was a much easier ride coming back. I mean, I've done this trip. This is the fourth time this year I've done this trip. But it's still much easier and somehow much cheaper than actually living there.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Living there is kind of insane.
I will say, though, now I always kind of like half jokingly, but not really joking, will say that going to Los Angeles, I've been able to navigate because of Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, for the first time, now like going like through Manhattan, okay, Manhattan's pretty easy to navigate, so I can't entirely make this claim, but driving through Brooklyn in the way I took to get into Brooklyn, thank you, Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, I have been here before, but it was in Liberty City. I know where I am. There was...
Wanted level has gone up. Oh, no.
I crossed the wrong bridge. Now I need to maintain my wanted level for 5 minutes so I can get an achievement.
Why is there a helicopter? Oh, God.
Mentioned it briefly, actually off air, but we were talking about upcoming plans for what I'm doing. And let's just say at some point, because now that I'm saying it out loud, I was told not to talk about this, but whatever. So I'll say at some point. I will not give a time frame. But at some point, I'm supposed to be in Florida. And that might not be happening because... It's like a hurricane is coming our way. Yeah. Yeah, that Hurricane Milton. What an unfortunate name.
If you give me my stapler, I'm going to destroy Florida. I'm going to, destroy Florida.
I feel like the name Milton was ruined by that movie. And it's out
I mean, Milton itself, like that was an old man name anyway at that point. So I don't think it's not really the movie that killed it. It was going out for a while.
Yeah. Is there there's a Milton in Massachusetts, isn't there?
Milton, Mass, yeah.
Yeah.
Milton Berle, Milton Bradley.
Yeah, the name Milton's getting its revenge. But here's the predicament. Is that Hurricane Helene just came and went. And I think North Carolina is really facing the brunt of it right now. And it was more like residuals. It wasn't like directly because of the hurricane. It was the after effects. But in Florida, the same deal. It's just Helene blew through, dumped a ton of rain, and now there's been flooding and all these problems. And
here comes the rain again.
And the thing about Helene was that the news wasn't really talking about it. It just seemed like it was another hurricane during the hurricane season. It wasn't hyped up to be this storm of the century. And it makes landfall and it causes a lot of damage. It fucks a lot of shit up.
It's because I don't think they were expecting it to do that and have that issue.
That's the thing, is when I say they, I mean the weatherman. When the storm is hyped up to be the end all be all, it doesn't end up doing a lot of damage. It makes landfall and then it just loses steam very quickly and doesn't do anything.
Normally speaking.
And Helene wasn't hyped up. It wasn't touted as Judgment Day and caused a lot of problems. Now Milton, I know Milton I think is the next storm to hit. It is the pandemonium. in like even like the National Weather Service, for example, down in Tampa, just putting out bulletins saying if you are still in this city come Wednesday, you will die.
I mean, not for nothing. The people that I work with, they've already evacuated. And now the people that aren't evacuating because they're not exactly in the path, there's apparently this curfews, in fact.
Yeah. Martial law, is that taking effect yet?
Apparently, yeah. Basically, right there, you're almost in martial law.
Now, I'm no expert in this, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that because I think it's been bouncing between Category 4 and Category 5, and I know on Monday, on the 7th, it went from 2 to 5 in the span of 6 hours, not even.
Yep, sounds about right.
Which is pretty unprecedented. I even saw something today. I don't know who was reporting it, but they were talking about like extending the categories to fit storms like this.
Well, it's like when the Fujita scale, when they went from like F5 and now it's EF, like the enhanced Fujita scale. Like, just come on.
You couldn't just add 6 to it. Like,
yeah,
you would enhance everything. And that was because of it was the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma tornado, the fastest at the time, the fastest tornado on record until Joplin in 2011.
That went really well.
Right. And then that was the enhanced Fujita scale at that point. And even then they were probably like, all right, maybe we'll come out with the enhanced Fujita scale.
Doubly enhanced. Zoom enhance. Zoom enhance. Zoom enhance.
We call it the CSI scale.
That's accurate right there. That is accurate.
So, yeah, they're talking about either coming up with a Category 6 or they could, like you just said, they could very well just now do enhanced categories. So a Category 5 is now a different range for wind speed. But just read this probably about an hour ago. According to Consequence, they announced this, that they knew what they were doing with the timing. You have this massive hurricane about to hit Florida. According to the news, it's going to wipe out Tampa Bay. So a band called Category 7 decided to announce themselves to the world. And it's a super group featuring members of Anthrax, Exodus, Machine Head, and Shadows Fall. But this was the time and the place to announce that they are going on tour. And, what better time than while we have a hurricane that could very well be a Category 7. And I do got to point out that it's got, who's from Anthrax in here? John Bush, ex-Anthrax. I mean, remember, after September 11th, there were the Anthrax attacks.
Yes, there were.
And Scott Ian, joking, he said it as a joke, but the radio stations were picking up on it, thinking that he was being serious. He said that the name of the band, they were going to change it to Basket Full of Puppies because it didn't feel right calling themselves Anthrax in the middle of this attack, this scare that we were having. And then now the tables have turned.
The turntables have turned.
Category 7. So, yeah, we'll see. And again, I'm not saying when I'm going to Florida. It could be sometime between right now and June of 2032. But there might not be a Florida by the time I go. There might not be a state of Florida or a.
How many people are in Florida that are associated with this radio station right here, this podcast?
There was, you know what? There was at one point a sizable number. Okay. In all sincerity.
Okay, all right. then I'll skirt around my joke.
Sure. There I know are in the Lakeland area, and okay. I have not spoken with them in many years. They were part of the More Like Radio Edge FM crew. But I would hope they are okay. In all sincerity, even though I haven't talked to them in a very long time, and I do not know what the I guess, status of our relationship is.
It's complicated.
I would say so. I just haven't talked to him. I don't know. We all just kind of fell out of contact and noticed that nobody was friends with each other on Facebook anymore. And then I dumped my Facebook, so who cares? But they are in Lakeland. That's what I'm getting at. They're in Lakeland, so I hope that they are okay, because the models and the models without the Sharpie drawing are showing that even Central Florida is going to get pounded right after Tampa. So by the time this episode is posted on the 10th of October,
we'll have 49 states.
Correct. And Costa Rica, or not, Puerto Rico. It's Puerto Rico.
Slight difference.
Sure. Popping out from behind the tree, rubbing its hands together. But yeah.
So you need another state, huh? All right.
And then American Samoa jumps in.
Hey, what about us? Shut up and keep giving us football players. You're good.
Introducing the 50th state of the United States, Guam.
How many people live in Guam? Can it even qualify?
They can vote.
Oh yeah, I mean all the territories can vote in the U.S. Presidential election, but
right.
Guam population.
I could
171,000 people.
Oh, all right. Wow. All right.
It's a lot more than American Samoa, which is only 44,000 people.
Hey, man, 44,000 votes right there.
Yeah. So let's see, 171. Let's see, population of North Dakota.
It's comparable.
North Dakota actually has 779,000. Okay. Wyoming has 581. So basically, we should kick Wyoming out.
All right. What about Montana? Remember, Montana for a long time, its population was under 1 million people.
Oh, Montana is at 1.123 million people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I thought I'm obviously not educated here. I thought Montana was the least populous state.
No, least populated state looks to be Wyoming.
Name one thing besides Wilford Brimley that came from Wyoming. See, you can't.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. The only thing I know about, there's two things I know about Wyoming. Is first, that's where Wilford Brimley was from, and he maintained a farm there after he retired. And then Fro.
Sorry, guy. Can't make it. My mom's cooking potatoes that night.
And I don't know if he was serious about this, but for a long time he said that he wanted to just give up everything, move out to Wyoming, and live as a hermit. While also,
there's enough space out there because Wyoming is, compared to the next least populous, is fucking huge. Vermont is the next least populous with 647,000.
I was just in Vermont a week ago.
Would you like to know another tidbit about Vermont?
Does it have to do with maple syrup?
No.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Vermont's capital, you know what that is?
Montpelier.
Yes. Not only is it also the least populated state capital of all the 50 states, it is also the only state capital that does not have a McDonald's.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, fuck Montpelier then. I had to second guess myself because Vermont is like, it's kind of like New York in that one would assume that New York City is the capital of New York. Or Los Angeles is the capital of California. No, it's a much smaller city, nowhere near it. And I was thinking, like, wait a minute, it's definitely not Burlington. It's Montpelier. And I know I've mentioned it before, but it's really never left me. States and capitals test in the second grade, where if I got all 50-50, the grand prize was a endless pancake breakfast. And you best believe I studied my ass off, and I got my goddamn pancake breakfast.
Did you memorize it? Was the Animaniacs? Did they also do the state capital song?
They did. I think they did. Yeah,
because I know they did the nation's song as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I learned all of that from. I like even picture it like in my head, and it was just like a giant map that I think like my parents bought me that like all of the states were like you would assemble the map yourself. So it was not only knowing the states and the capitals, but it was being able to identify like where it was. And I distinctly remember Montana, the shape was the color pink. And it's just like I have like a color association when it comes to thinking of the states. But that was part of it, is just knowing where it was. Like you could look at a map as a second grader and point to it and say, that's Montana. Let's see if I can remember. Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yes.
Is that the capital? It is.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Completely forgot. The Devil's Mountain, that's in Wyoming.
Oh, the Devil's Tower?
Correct, yeah. Where the made famous by First Encounters or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And then, which is not a prequel to E.T., by the way. And I think, yeah, Yosemite is there too. There's actually quite a few things that are in Wyoming now that I'm thinking about it.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, there's things there. There's just not people there.
Sure.
That's the catch.
You're talking about McDonald's in Montpelier, or the lack thereof. Did you know about the McDonald's in Sedona, Arizona?
Is that the one that was like it had weird colors to it?
Yep.
It was like and the only is it teal?
It's teal.
Or something like pink?
Yeah. I think it's too because the colors of the landscape out there. That's why people go to Sedona, just because of the colors of the rock formations and everything. The buildings all have to be within like a certain color palette, and I think like teal is the major color. So legally they cannot have golden arches there. So it's the only McDonald's location in existence where the arches are teal.
It's like going to Greece and seeing like Santorini, and it's like, no. This McDonald's has to have a white facade with a blue roof.
And I think it's in Maine, where there's it's either Maine or Maine, Vermont, or New Hampshire. It's one of the northern New England states. But there's a McDonald's that's in like an old like 17th or 18th century house that I think was a bank at one point and was converted into a McDonald's. But it's very unassuming. Like you look at it and it just looks like your colonial era.
It's Maine.
It's Maine.
It's Maine. It's an 1850s house. Let me try to figure out Freeport.
Okay, there we go.
Freeport, Maine. And it literally looks like somebody bought a house and just slapped a McDonald's sign on the transom above the main door. And the only other thing I can see is like the window clings for like promotional items are in the first floor windows.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the McLobster is delicious.
Because I'm sure they're like, yeah, we kind of have to get it fresh because I know Paulie and Fitzy that are on the boat in the morning. So,
yep. Meanwhile, Wendy's is doing the SpongeBob promotion. Did you see that?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, they're selling Krabby Patties and pineapple upside down Frosties, which those look delicious. The Krabby Patty, I guess, is the reviews are not positive because it is not really true to the cartoon.
Krabby Patty?
Yeah. It's more just, I think it's just like a JBC. They say it has like quote unquote Krabby Patty sauce on it. I don't know what that is, but the chief complaint is that it's the standard Wendy's bun. And Wendy's, as far as I know, they do not do sesame seed buns.
I don't believe they do. And I don't think they would do anyway, because that would involve like people that are like, hey, I'm allergic to sesame seeds. I know I can go to Wendy's and not have an issue. They wouldn't probably introduce it just for a special event like that.
Mm-hmm. I might give it a shot, but Wendy's just disappoints me. It's just, their like marketing is great. Their social media presence is great, but the food itself, it's just not good. I just haven't had like a good experience at Wendy's in the last 5 years. I don't think a Krabby Patty.
Right. This looks like just like a regular. I mean, I don't see any bacon on it. So it's a JBC without bacon, and it looks like basically like Big Mac sauce on it. I can do that.
Well, There you go. Fascinating fast food locations and menu items. Having the apps too, by the way, that I was a very slow adopter with those apps.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, are they a godsend for the deals.
Really?
For the deals, and then the lack of human interaction. In fact, I don't need to go in and talk to anybody or yell at someone through a box in a drive-through. The most I have to do is just tell them that I'm here. Give me my stuff.
Gimme, me want.
Speaking of Florida, well, I hope Milton doesn't destroy it, but the McDonald's in Orlando is, I think, the largest McDonald's in existence. It's multi-story. It's got an arcade on the second floor.
Well, damn.
And it's the only location that's still... There might be one other, but this one definitely has cooked to order pizza and pasta.
Those went away like years ago.
Yep, they did. And I've had the McPizza and the McPasta, and both are shockingly good. Like, to the point where I'm kind of looking forward to getting more when I'm there again. Again, providing a hurricane doesn't blow it away. And it's like different types of pasta too. And it's the thing is, it's all like, because of the nature of the place, it's made to order. So like you can't get it and then just expect to be ready in 30 seconds. Like you order it, you're going to be waiting a while for it. Which I think was,
which is good because I don't want pasta to come out after 30 seconds.
Right. I think that was the chief complaint about the McPizza, was that it took too long to make.
Oh yeah, because it was like I think they got it down to like maybe 10 minutes or something like that, and you're like, still too long.
There's even I remember doing a research into this a long time ago, but the restaurants that were offering it, they had to actually rebuild their drive-through windows so they could actually fit the McPizza boxes through. And when the item wasn't selling enough to justify the costs, they panicked, and they didn't immediately pull the plug, but then it went from being a full-size large pizza down to like the the personal pan from Pizza Hut. All right, shifting gears. Okay, before we get to what's happening, so I'm listening to The Men's Room, which is a very good radio show from Seattle, and listening to the podcast, and you know how podcasts are with the advertisements, and not like this one has any ads that play during it. But because they're on an Odyssey owned radio station, they get, the ads that are tailored for Odyssey. So if you pull a podcast up on the Odyssey app, you got to listen to a whole slew of ads before the content begins. And I'm not even like thinking twice about this ad that started playing until I heard a pronunciation of a word within the ad. And it's for a business that I never even heard of. A business is an app. It's actually an app. And the app is called Sports on What. And you can go to sportsonwhat.com, and their website looks like it was made, I would wager, in the 90s, because everything's in Times New Roman font, which I think is the default that HTML renders at. Mm-hmm. It's on like a orange creamsicle theme, orange and white. I was actually struggling to find this app, despite the advertising. You search for Sports on What, and it doesn't immediately come up. I think I had to go into the Google Play Store and search for it, and I finally found it. But the ads are playing on the Odyssey app anyway. But This is what caught my ear. I'm going to play a section from the ad. This is sort of like a faux pas in radio. You don't like play ads to make fun of them, but
you are.
But I'm going to do it because it's actually fun to play ads and make fun of them. So here we go. This is the part of the ad I heard for Sports on What. You'll hear it, Mike.
Okay.
And maybe you'll cringe at it. Here we go.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too.
Did you clock it? Yes.
On
no.
what?
Yeah. That's it.
On what?
The Family Guy sketch.
Sports on what? No, sports on what?
What?
What you talking about?
I don't know if that's Ed McMahon, who's no relation, a very accomplished voiceover in the radio business. And if it is, Ed, I thought you knew better, man. You can say what. You don't have to put an H apostrophe in front of it. You can just say what. Unless the client specifically requested that you pronounce it a certain way, which like, okay, as long as like you're getting a good cut of the residuals for pronouncing it wrong. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there.
Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app and you'll always know how to watch the game.
What app?
It's torture. I cringe. I hear that. I'm like, ugh. Like, oh, you're getting my attention. Now I'm interested in the product. So maybe by pronouncing it that way, that's the unintended consequence. But I'm just angry. Like that's just say what? Not what.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
See, he knew what he was doing there at the end. He wanted to make sure that this is going to be the last time in the spot that he's saying what, so you better make it count. Better have that lead up. You can even hear it. You can hear the
hot Tua?
The hawk Tua. I don't like her voice, by the way.
I don't either.
Haley Welch. Hawk Tua! Who's got the third most listened podcast on Spotify.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Like the hurricane, I'll blame global warming. So I hear this ad. It drives me insane. It makes me angry. Irrationally or rationally. It could be both. It's something I'll probably be talking to my therapist about. But I decided, you know what? I'm going to make this ad sound better. I'm going to make it sound more listenable. So I put my own spin on the Sports on What ad that is playing on the Odyssey app. Here we go.
Let's have it.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
I don't know. I think it's better.
It's definitely less. I don't know if it's jarring or painful to the ears.
What? There's only.
Damn it, Bobby.
There's only one person who can get away. Only one person can get away with saying what like that, and it's Hank Hill.
What? That's right.
I wanted to try to fit this in. It just wasn't. It just wasn't working.
She what?
But there you go. If you hear the Sports on What ad play anywhere, just know that the word "what" is not being pronounced correctly.
Duly noted.
That's something that I don't know. When I went to broadcasting school, they didn't say anything about that. No one ever said. They taught me how to correctly speak into a dynamic microphone, but they didn't say anything about how to pronounce certain words. If anything, they were just big on making sure that you enunciate everything correctly, but not what? Not do that. All right. Thank you for enduring that.
You're welcome.
If I had to suffer, then so do you. And it's now time for this.
I don't watch the news.
Hardly Focused.
Presents
Argle bargle or foofara.
This weekend, well, everything.
Oh my God, I'm missing the news.
We all miss the news, but Huey Lewis needs time to create.
Mike, you're finally going to get your chance to play Red Dead Redemption.
Not two, the original.
The original, yes. In the franchise, it's the second entry.
Yes, it's the sequel to the prequel.
Yes, which I think I saw you have a copy of Red Dead Revolver in the basement. I noticed you had a stack of PlayStation 2 games, and I think I saw a Red Dead Revolver in there. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure at this point.
Nick was pointing out all of his favorite Wii games to play, and then I saw the stack of PlayStation games. I was pointing all my favorites and realized all of them have the M rating on them.
Yeah, I think you were. I think you were mistaken. That was Red Faction.
Okay, all right.
Slight difference. Slightly different.
Well, Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption are not connected. There's loose elements. It's a spiritual successor, as they say. But that game came out in 2010, and man, that was it was just a good time when that game came out. That was just that was a decent time in my life, and I remember. I remember drinking a lot. I think the week that game came out, I think that was also the first time I ever got like drunk sick. But thanks, Warren. But Red Dead Redemption.
Shirt is purple.
Mike, I remember you watching me play the end of Red Dead Redemption. So I'd hope you don't remember anything about it if you're planning on getting back into it. But you came in at a pivotal moment, and I'm like, I have to finish this. Do you mind if I finish this?
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to play it anytime soon, so have at it.
Turns out you were right, because it took almost 15 years.
There you go.
But Red Dead Redemption, it's coming to PC on October 29th.
Are they using like the Unreal 5 engine? What are they? Do they like? What do they do?
They never
just, like kind of port over from like the PS4. Like what do they got?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. And I think the engine that they used, which is called the Rage engine, it's the Rockstar's.
Okay, so they're just using Rockstar's Rage engine.
Yeah, but
okay.
Now the game was released over the last couple of years on PlayStation 4, which was odd because now we got the PlayStation 5, so it's very rare now to see things coming out for the 4. And then I guess it got updates that enhanced it for the PlayStation 5. Also came out on the Nintendo Switch, and it's been backwards compatible on the Xbox. So if you had the Xbox 360 like I did, now you're on the Series S or Series X, you can play Red Dead and have been able to play Red Dead with full 60 frames a second for quite a long time, thanks to backwards compatibility. But the other systems, the other previous and current gen systems now have Red Dead Redemption. And I guess the studio that handled those ports, called Double 11, realized, hey, if we could move this from Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, then a PC version just had to be in the cards. And people have wanted the PC version for a very long time. And anytime
PC Master Race.
Well, anytime there was any like data mining, and they'd find code like in Rockstar's website or on SteamDB that would mention a PC version of Red Dead Redemption, then you wouldn't hear anything about it afterwards. And it became all but official a month or two ago when a listing for the PC version, including the like store description, was accidentally posted on Rockstar's website and taken down pretty quickly. But
whoopsie, you can't go back though. Once you post that,
yep,
people see it.
Oh, my mistake. It was the PlayStation Store. For some reason, it showed up in the PlayStation Store, but it mentioned it was text specific to the PC version. And then it was corrected, but it was up long enough to make its rounds on the internet. But what's really fascinating is when I saw the news today, it just was kind of, there's a lot more going on in the world right now. I figured there'd be bigger fanfare around the PC version of the game finally coming out almost 15 years later. But it will finally exist. So, Mike, you're someone out there who's not yet had a chance to try it. Well, now you can, and you should, because it's one of the greatest games ever made.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not doubting that part. It's just I was like, I'm not PSing it up just for that game. So
yep,
I waited in the wings.
It will include the Undead Nightmare DLC.
Oh,
which is fantastic. It's like it's literally, I think it's John Marston having a nightmare that there's a zombie apocalypse. I only played it once. I've played through Red Dead, I think 3 times. I only did the DLC once, but I liked it. It was fun. It was campy, but it was fun.
I mean, it's really hard to kind of mess up zombies completely.
Yeah, right. Hey,
may not be the most amazing, but
hey, people find a way. There was that game the day before it came out last year that was out for like 3 days before it got taken off the storefronts because it was so bad. Well, that was a scam. That whole thing was a scam from the start. It was no Conquered.
Well, that was just a complete fuck.
Mm-hmm. For the nerds that care, the PC specific enhancements include native 4K resolution at up to 144 hertz on compatible hardware. Both ultra wide and super ultra wide monitor support. HDR10 support. I don't use HDR. Like the settings I have, like I can do it. I just don't use it. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. I don't know. Like I know like modern TVs, modern monitors can do HDR. I just find it just looks dark. It just there's like details, luminescence. It takes away how vivid the image is. But there's people out there that like it. So Red Dead on PC will have HDR10 support. It'll also have DLSS 3.7 and FSR 3.0. That's upscaling technology, Mike. That makes it so your potato computer can render graphics and still make it look decent.
Well, oh boy, then. All right.
And also adjustable draw distances, shadow quality settings, and more. PC screenshots look cool. In fact, it looks too detailed.
This is too good. Can we just back it off a little bit?
Yeah, that's, I guess, sort of the folly of a game that came out 15 years ago. And like back then it looked phenomenal. And then you look at it now and like it's, it shows it's age. But then when you put it on PC and everything looks so crisp, it's like, okay, this looks kind of goofy. This went from like realistic to cartoony very fast.
This is not good.
So one of the unconfirmed, I guess, speculations about Red Dead Redemption is that it was I wouldn't say it had like a nightmare, no pun intended, nightmarish development cycle, but it was in, thank you, Mike. It was in development for a long time. And I guess the code for the game was so back-asswards that they just couldn't port it to PC.
Which is like how fucked up. Like it works for what we need it to, but God, don't look at it. If you look at it the wrong way, it might explode.
Yeah. It's like the people, Rockstar, trying to put it on PC, and it's like Ash from Alien running in going, no, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It ran just fine on Xbox. It ran fine on PS3. Played it on both. It's the backwards compatibility. Whoa, those foxes. Damn. I can hear that even with my headphones on. I got foxes living out in my neighbor's backyard.
What does the fox say?
Well, apparently, because that's what it just sounded like. Cooper's, both his ears are up right now.
He's like, something's going on. Something's going on. What?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of related. There are foxes in Red Dead Redemption, and foxes, wolves, various wildlife. And I learned from Skyrim, or I'm applying Skyrim knowledge here, is that wolves are more, they're quick to run away. They don't come at you.
No, they do not. They are a lot more
timid.
Cautious,
yeah. Well, I'm downstairs in the kitchen last week, and I look out the window, and I just see a fox just prowling around in my neighbor's backyard. And then there's two of them. I don't know if they had a litter or what, and that's just their nesting spot now. But I mean, I feel bad. They both very clearly have mange, so I don't want to get near them. But boy, are they cute to look at. But they're out and about right now. And
I believe you mean Oot and a boot.
Oot and a boot. There's one that prowls my neighborhood with a cat.
Interesting.
I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now. I remember getting home one night and just seeing the cat. It's an orange tabby cat, and one of the foxes just walking down the street together, side by side.
Cat and a fox, huh? Interspecies erotica. All right.
just hanging out. And I guess that's a thing that happens. But yeah, the Red Dead Redemption, plenty of foxes. I think there are hunting challenges in the game. So at the time too, it was I like to lovingly call Red Dead Redemption Grand Theft Horse.
Of course, not just you.
And the Grand Theft Auto games, for the most part, leading up to Red Dead Redemption, there was no animal, any sort of wildlife. It was just humans. You would have like birds flying around that you could pick off with a sniper rifle. And in Grand Theft Auto 4 had an achievement called, I think like the flying rat achievement. There'd be pigeons and you'd have to pick them off, and getting like a certain number of them, you got an achievement for it. Red Dead Redemption, that adds wildlife that you can hunt for materials to craft weapons and not like armor, but like, and it's like skins, but I know like you can get like, ponchos, things like that, jackets, clothing. And then of course Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece in and of itself. In fact, I would say it's too big. It's actually too big.
Whoa. Too big, sir.
They coded Red Dead Redemption 2 much differently and much easier to port, because that's been on PC for well over 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I would say, now, of course, you're going to need the time to dedicate to playing it.
That's always the key, sir. That is always the key.
But Red Dead Redemption 2 is technically
the prequel, the first.
Right. Despite their bizarre naming convention. So
Red Dead Redemption primary.
Yes.
What's an old-timey word for first?
For first?
Right. Yeah. Instead of Red Dead Redemption 2, like, back in my day, Red Dead Redemption was first, and then, like what's I can't think of a word for it.
Actually, let's see what Altavista says. Old-timey word for first. The old English word first is the origin of the word first.
Maybe a little bit too old.
Red Dead Pioneer.
There we go. Red Dead Pioneer.
Yep. Red Dead Foremost.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I figured for a long time, people were just calling it, before they announced the sequel, they were calling it like Red Dead Retribution, which like words that are like redemption. That like made sense. I'll never forget Danny Ross, who used to work on the Opie and Anthony show, and everyone involved with Opie and Anthony got in very good with the folks at Rockstar Games because of Laszlo. And some of them even left the show to go work at Rockstar, and Danny was one of them. And I think like he ended up getting fired for some reason, but he did an AMA on Reddit and was asked what Rockstar, what their next project was after Grand Theft Auto 5, what they'd be working on. Danny responded with, "Really? Dumbass? Really? 2." And this was well before Red Dead Redemption 2 was even announced. And then I think it was like a year or two before it was announced, the map of the game leaked online. Like an image of like the outline of the map, and it encompassed the entire thing. It had placeholder names in it, but it was the full thing, and that was ultimately what we saw in the final game. Rockstar Games not having a good track record with their leaks. We haven't seen anything from Grand Theft Auto 6 though since that trailer came out, so there's that.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
They're just re-releasing old games, porting old games. Grand Theft Auto 6 tentatively next year. We'll see. But there you go, Mike. If you get it, enjoy Red Dead Redemption, because it's fantastic. It is such a good game.
I will be. I mean, honestly, I probably have to look at my specs at this point. I put that computer together 9 years ago at this point, I think. Hold on, let me double check.
The one you're using right now?
Yeah.
Damn.
Let me go. Where am I at? What's the quickest way to get that info?
I think if you go into system, it'll tell you.
Systems working together.
System information. I don't know. I'm lazy. I use a program called Specky, which it just pulls everything from the system information window, but puts it into like a nice, like easy to read UI.
Yeah, this is not as easy. Let's see.
I'm sure for a game that came out in 2010, I'm sure your 9-year-old computer could run it just fine.
BIOS 2/12/2015.
Wow.
Yes. So yes, the birth date of this computer,
Jesus,
was my parents' anniversary.
It's older than your kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna celebrate. It's on its way to celebrating its 10th birthday in less than 6 months.
Wow. I thought mine's 4 years old. Not even 4 years old.
I got an i7 4790 CPU. 30.6 gigahertz. It's 8 gig of RAM. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think they're adding like ray tracing and stuff like that to.
They're not. See, that's what I figure. They automatically like, let's literally just chuck it full of everything.
Yeah. And even with, now I don't know. I can't remember if you need, I think for DLSS, you need like an NVIDIA, like a GTX card. I can't remember if like like GTX or RTX cards have the like that upscaling technology in it, but that's effectively so. Like my computer, for example, like, yeah, it's a good gaming PC. It's not great, but for an intensive game like Cyberpunk 2077, that upscaling technology, that upscaling technology like really comes in handy. Like they make it because they know not everyone, they make games now for, $5,000 machines, knowing that people can't afford that shit. So you might luck out, Mike. For a game this old, you might be able to play it.
The fact that by the time I probably get to play it in February, I'll play it on a 10-year-old computer. Oh, that's nuts.
Playing a 15-year-old game for the first time on a 10-year-old computer. Do you use the website canirunit.com?
I mean, yeah, I'm not normally because I don't need to buy enough video games to worry about it. But yeah, I've done it before with that.
Okay.
Can I run it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I put that in there. And it's like, can I run it? You're like, it's like, yes.
You can try. I mean, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
But no, you can't run it. Yeah, see, mine said it was before I built my current one that I wouldn't be able to play Cyberpunk. But I wanted to try it when it came out. And I remember, I mean, the game was a mess when it came out, but someone added a mod to the game that unlocked a bunch of additional options that weren't in the game to begin with that basically enabled me to be able to play it and get like a solid 60 frames a second out of it. It just shut off a lot of features that, that made the game look very, let's say, unpleasant to the eye. But I was able to play it. And then I upgraded it and everything was great. But that was, I need a graphics card at this point if I want to really be able to play anything new. Everything else is fine. It's just, I just need a better graphics card. Remember, I bought everything in 2020, but I didn't put it together until January 6th, 2021. And the only reason I remember
that's why we had that problem.
It's always my fault. It always falls back on me.
Didn't you also predict like either an earthquake or a mass shooting as well a couple of times in a row? So like just don't do anything. You need to become like an ascetic Buddhist monk and just sit there in the lotus position and don't say a thing.
I did.
What happened yesterday? Well, Jack was talking some bullshit and apparently 18 planes collided with each other. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, I might have accidentally willed the Las Vegas shooting into existence.
That's what it was. It was that Las Vegas shooting. I knew it was one of those.
Yep.
They all just roll in together.
No, I remember the Capitol riot broke out, and I was so distracted by that, just disenchanted with everything, that I just signed off work early and started building my computer while I had the news on in the background. And it was pretty much, that was an all-day event. Followed that whole thing right through Colbert doing a live episode that night at the, an unplanned live installment of his show. That's when shit's fucked up. When Colbert has a taped episode that he just throws in the can.
Yeah, we're going to just truck that and go live.
Although he had the advantage back then because of the pandemic, and he was doing everything out of it was the set that was built to look like his office.
Yes.
So it was just him and his wife and a very minuscule crew. He could just do a quick pickup show. You didn't have to worry about bringing in a studio audience and
60 people and production and all of that have to come in. Nope. Just let me run it.
Yep. Just say, hey, I'm going live at 11:30. Don't air that taped episode I sent you because we're gonna do it live, Bill O'Reilly style.
Fuck it, we're going live.
Well, that's Kamala Harris is gonna be on Colbert.
Oh, okay.
She's making the rounds.
She doesn't do interviews.
I don't do interviews either. But some would say she's the worst at interviews. I schedule interviews and then I don't go.
Because they try to fact check me and I don't like it.
Yeah, that's now, I guess the fallback. That's just unfortunately one of those now terms that people are kind of ignorantly throwing around is fact checking when they don't like something. Or when they say something, they speak out of their ass and then they get disproven. They then complain about being fact-checked.
Don't fact-check me. It's called reality. Fucking try to live in it once in a while. But no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, Kamala, she has been getting criticism because she has not been really making any media appearances since she announced her candidacy. So
basically she's like, I just don't want to say anything bad, and I want you guys to concentrate on this idiot saying all the wrong shit.
Yeah. Let him dig himself a hole that he can't climb out of. I'm just going to stand over here and just smile.
Yep. This former president
Well,
is talking out of his ass.
I'm curious what you think about her strategy here, because she is a little bit unconventional. Like, it's not out of the ordinary for a presidential candidate to go on the late night circuit. And Colbert obviously is very political, so like not surprising that she's going to appear on his show as a presidential candidate. But she was on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which I think Becky listens to. I've never listened to it, but that is another way to get the millennial vote. If Taylor Swift didn't already sway people.
She only locked up, like 18 million likes on her Insta posts. So,
right. And she got like 500,000 people to register to vote overnight.
Yep.
And then she today.
Hey, that's the entire state of Wyoming.
Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, she's not ahead in Wyoming, but it just sucks how it comes down to it's coming down to 4 states. The other ones are locked in. Like, if any could flip, cool, whatever. But like, if Wyoming is going to be red, then let it be red, because it doesn't matter. It's Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. Those are the ones that unfortunately matter.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately.
Now, today, the 8th of October, Kamala Harris was on the Howard Stern show. That is something that I would think
Baba Booey. Howard Stern's penis.
She would have done great if she came in and began the interview with that, began her appearance.
Hey, Howard, how's it going, Baba Booey? What?
Can you imagine she comes, she's like, hey, is Wendy the retard still here? Like, no, she's Wendy the slow adult now. Yeah, his whack pack, they've all been renamed. Like, was it Gary the Midget? He's Gary the Conqueror now.
He's like, I'm not about to get canceled over some stupid shit. Just whatever. We'll move on. We'll talk about other stuff.
Sure. He's pushing 70 now, but he's really changed his, just the way he does things. I mean, to have her on for like a serious interview is not something that you would expect the 1990s, early 2000s era Howard Stern to do. If he did,
assless chaps flying down from the concourse up,
Fart man. Yeah, if he did have Harris on like 20 years ago, he's like, all right, bend over and we'll throw bologna at your ass cheeks.
Keep yapping and flapping.
But yep, she's there. Was there. She's also doing a town hall on Univision.
In Espanol.
Yeah. In lieu of a debate against Trump, because he doesn't want to do another debate. So she instead.
No mas fact checo.
Yeah. She instead said, I'll do a town hall. I don't care. Which, like, okay, good on her. Like, yeah, she does need to up her media tour, I guess. But
also because there's a surprising amount of Hispanic voters that vote Trump. So I'm sure she's like, maybe if I go on Univision, I can at least get a couple more to sway over my side.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as a lot of Hispanics live in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a swing state.
And don't they realize that the guy they're voting for wants to get rid of them?
Yeah, that's a whole conversation of cognitive dissonance and double think. And yeah, it's.
Well, 60 Minutes, which continues to exist.
I know, despite Andy Rooney.
That's on the October 7th installment of 60 Minutes. Initially, it was going to be a big special episode, a very special episode.
I have AIDS.
Featuring Nancy Reagan, the throat goat. As she sits on Mr. T's lap. It was going to be a special episode where Harris and Tim Walz are going to be interviewed, and then separately Trump would be interviewed. And Trump decided that he didn't want to be interviewed. He didn't want to be on 60 Minutes.
I don't want to.
So
I'm
here,
gonna take my ball and I'm going to go home.
So Scott Pelley, not holding back. Scott Pelley, who was at one point the host of the CBS Evening News, who has a very interesting voice. Scott Pelley. Very interesting voice. It's like he grits his teeth and never opens his mouth all the way. Scott Pelley. And 60 Minutes as well. Always like, you know how NPR has a very certain sound to it? Public radio has a very certain sound. Like the process, it's not just the audio processing, but it's like the way they talk on national public radio. Or even if you're listening to an indie rock station that's at the far left end of the dial, they all talk like this. It's just
yes, the breathiness of it. Yes,
it's just very it's all very soft spoken. 60 Minutes has, especially during the intro, always just has a very certain tone to it, and like you can really hear it just in this clip I'm about to play. Here's Scott Pelley having to explain why half of the episode that they planned wasn't going to go ahead as planned because Trump wasn't there.
The Trump campaign had told us that the interview would be this past Thursday at Mar-a-Lago. They also asked us whether we would meet 78-year-old Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was grazed in an assassination attempt. We agreed. On September 9th, Trump's communications director, Stephen Chung, sent a text that read, quote, "I'm working with our advance team to see logistically if Butler would work in addition to the sit-down. Sit-down meaning the interview in Florida. Days later, Chung called to say, quote, "The president said yes." Then, a week ago, Trump backed out. The campaign offered shifting explanations. First, it complained that we would fact-check the interview. We fact-check every story. Later, Trump said he needed an apology for his interview in 2020. Trump claims correspondent Leslie Stahl said in that interview that Hunter Biden's controversial laptop came from Russia. She never said that. Trump has said his opponent doesn't do interviews because she can't handle them. He had previously declined another debate with Harris, so tonight may have been the largest audience for the candidates between now and Election Day. Our questions addressed the economy, immigration, reproductive rights, and the wars in the Middle East and Europe. Both campaigns understood this special would go ahead if either candidate backed out.
Well, still went ahead. And Hunter Biden's laptop. Remember that? That old gag? That was a thing that a lot of people were up in arms and cared about until July of this year.
Yep.
And now that's a name you don't really hear anymore. Stephen Chung, who is Trump's communications director, who is also very fat, responded curtly to 60 Minutes and was throwing out a lot of excuses, a myriad of excuses. He claims that the interview was never, quote, locked in. That guy just sucks. That guy's just a giant windbag, Stephen Chung. I hate that guy. Like, I just genuinely do not like that guy. There's just no professionalism to him. He's just as bad as the maroon he works for. I'm sorry, the orange that he works for, if we're going with colors here. Chung Chang, whatever. I could be pronouncing his name wrong.
Cheung, which God knows you have a shitty ability to pronounce anything correctly.
Is that Chang? Or is it Chung?
I don't know.
Jesus.
They don't have. I was like, they don't have a pronunciation guide on his on his Wikipedia page, so I don't know. All I know is he looks like
He's a sumo wrestler. I think he was a sumo wrestler at some point.
Oh, well, that would explain a lot then, because his head looks like it was a fill-in for like Mr. Potato Head plus like a football helmet put together.
Yeah, if this guy gets mad at you, he's going to sit on you.
Yes, and you will die.
Yeah. So you got to understand, when I say he's fat, there's a reason why he's fat. It doesn't excuse the fact that he's fat.
So basically, he had 80 pounds of rice a day.
Kamala Harris, gun owner.
Yeah.
Here she is when she was speaking with Brad Whitaker. Is that his name?
Sure.
Bill Whitaker. Bill Whitaker on 60 Minutes. Here she is talking about her gun.
What kind of gun do you own, and when and why did you get it?
I have a Glock, and I've had it for quite some time. And I mean, look, Bill, my background is in law enforcement. And so there you go.
Have you ever fired it?
Yes. Of course I have. At a shooting range. Yes, of course I have.
That's. Have you ever fired it? I fucking hope so.
No, I just sit and stare at it.
I bought a gun and I've never used it ever, so I have no idea what it feels like when I shoot it. Yeah. But I do find it amusing that she would own a Glock.
Yeah, well, now why?
That is a cop's gun right there. That is 100% a cop's gun. What she didn't do is really what she should have done. I feel like she should have gone, oh yeah, I've got a Glock 19. Like she should have put like that in there. Not just, I have a Glock. No, I had a Glock 19. No, I got a Glock 17. Oh, okay. All right. No, I got a Glock 43. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Because Glock boys, they're like, Glock is a fanboy community. Like that's, yeah.
Do you think it actually would have helped her case if she started getting technical about it?
I think if she just dropped like, oh yeah, I got a Glock 19. I think if she did that, I think, let's be honest, every single guy's got a boner for the Second Amendment hates her anyway. So I don't know if it would have changed. It may have caused a little glimmer of doubt in their minds. Like, wait a second, hold on a second. What? No. I gotta go back to Trump. But I think it might have put a little bit more credibility in there.
Yeah.
I don't doubt. As a DA, absolutely. Like you're putting criminals away, and if they can find out where your house is, you gotta be armed. Let's be serious.
Are you surprised that in that case that it's only a Glock?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm. It's a pistol, and it's home defense. I don't think she'd be breaking out a Benelli shotgun. I mean, clearing rooms with buckshot there is a little bit of overkill, but it fits what you need. If she was like, oh yeah, but she's got Walls. Walls is the gun guy, technically. Like he's got the hunting rifles and all that shit. So she doesn't have to go that far and be like, oh yeah, I've got my own AR, blah 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 blah. No, she's like, hey, I've had this ever because I need it, because God knows you assholes are crazy. So there you go.
Tim Walls is like, oh yeah, over here I got the Spaz 12. Yeah, they don't make that anymore. Need a special permit to carry that. We got an elephant gun, circa 1870, and what else? What do we got over here?
He's got a punt gun, which is a 2 gauge.
We got
it's this big.
We got the 22 long slide with the laser sight. Yeah, all you gotta do is put your finger on the trigger there, and the laser turns on. We also got a phased 40-watt plasma rifle.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
Hey, just what you see, pal. Yeah, see, I would like to picture Harris, and it's probably going to be Walls and his wife, but Harris and Doug Ermoff, like Reba McEntire and Michael Gross in Tremors. Their rec room is just a museum to various types of guns.
Oh yeah, I could see Walls with the brass polisher just going around. Turn it off.
Wallace just shows up one day and he's just got 2 empty 9mm. He's like, I am completely out of ammo. That's never happened to me before.
That sounds about right.
Meanwhile, Trump, his concealed carry permit was revoked last year because he was indicted on
I'll be
many
honest.
felony charges.
I'm sure he had it, but the question is, I just don't see him carrying. I could envisioning him conceal carrying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be like, I can't envision him. I can't see him shooting a gun accurately at all.
I mean, he couldn't even drink out of a glass of water. Remember that?
Yeah. I can't see him one-handed or two-handed. I know some guys that are older, always with one hand. Back when my dad was in the military, that's how he qualified with his 45.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, no, it's one-handed. You're doing one-handed. Like, oh shit. Okay. Now it's like isometric, hold this, two-handed and all this stuff. You're like, okay, we've got all the science down on it. No. Yeah. He's one-handing or two-handing it. Either way, I would dollars to donuts put half of his shots outside of the one ring, which is the big one, not the one in the middle. That's the 10 ring in the middle.
He's not like me.
For all of his bluster about how we weren't winning all of the medals in the shooting competitions. Like, all right, put your money where your mouth is. I don't see you doing anything close.
Yeah, he's not like me at a shooting range and starts thinking of every person who's ever wronged him, and all of a sudden he's hitting bullseyes.
Wow, sir, you've got all of the shots in the 10 ring there. Sorry, I was in a zone.
Okay, what you just said is actually what happened when I went to Vegas and went to a shooting range, and it was my first time going to a shooting range, and using just it was like a 9mm, and just got nervous.
Do you know what kind? Was it a Glock?
It might have been a Glock, or it might have been a Beretta. I can't remember.
There's a slight difference between those two.
But I first gun, I missed. I was just a nervous mess. And then
had you ever fired a gun before that point?
Not a real gun. Airsoft gun, like a BB gun.
Oh no. I mean actually firearm that kicks back when you actually shoot properly.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, that was my first time.
So that's the thing. If you've never done it before, you are not prepared for the feeling of that kickback.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't even just that. It was just all of a sudden
sound.
That aside, just the power. Just realizing, holy shit, I'm holding a gun. I'm kind of scared. And then, let's just say I found myself in a state of mind that most normal people shouldn't be in. But it helped my concentration. I swear to God, it helped. The instructor, because I forget what the second gun was I used, but the third one was a Ruger. And
all pistols,
a Ruger's technically it's a pistol, but it's got a stock on it, right?
A Ruger is a brand of gun, buddy. So you got pistols and carbines. You've got rifles. You got a whole bunch of shit.
Okay, I think they were counting it as a pistol, but it had a stock, so it looks like a rifle, but it technically.
Okay, so they basically they put a specific kind of brace on there to make it a rifle, which is going to piss people a bunch off. But yeah, it's basically put there so it's an extra point of contact. So technically, even though it's a pistol, it's got a brace, so it feels more like a rifle.
Okay.
Technicalities all around, and the ATF have gone back and forth on it constantly, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't own anything like that because I don't need to worry about
it. Well, it didn't have a bump stock on it. Let's put it that way.
No, we didn't have to worry about that. But you were just plinking away on that, aren't you?
It could have been a Ruger 1022. I'm looking it up.
Oh my God. That right there is that is probably the most, if rifle ownership.
Yeah.
That is probably the most owned rifle in America.
Okay.
Ruger 1022. Because 22 rifle or 22 ammo, fucking cheap. You're talking like a box of ammo for $20, not a box of ammo for $50 or $100. And you just go, and that box of ammo is like 300 rounds. And you're just plinking all day long. I just spent an hour shooting constantly. I spent $15.
Damn.
Yeah. As opposed to even the 9mm. I spent an hour shooting my 9mm. I just spent $100 in ammo.
I wonder if these 1022s are what they based the in the Terminator and the Future War scenes, what Kyle Reese was using for his gun. Looks very similar to it. Heavily modified, of course. But using that gun, and the instructor just like the target comes back, and just the number of bullseyes that I got, and the instructor going, "What happened? You went from like terrible to phenomenal over the course of two guns."
It helps that a 1022, like a 22, it plinks. Like you don't lose your sight when you're firing that. There is no big giant kickback.
Okay.
Like a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world.
Yeah, this was my my mindset.
The category is people who annoy you.
Stanley, the only reason Daddy used that word is that he thought he would win money.
Meanwhile, like 2 stalls down, there was this married couple from Asia that were insistent on using the biggest guns you could use at that range without needing to go outside. Because it was an indoor range, and you could pick your guns. Like you would like look at its place, and be like, okay, pick which gun you want to use, and it like anything over a certain size requires us to go outside so you can like blow up tanks.
Oh yeah, and basically because the backstop can't handle a rifle caliber of certain size. Yeah.
And they wanted the most American experience you could get, so they're
absolutely give me a 50 cal Barrett sniper rifle. Let me go out and see if I can bang something out 1,000 yards away, even though it's never going to happen because I've never shot anything like this. I do love the fact that they, I've seen, I think it was Wee Man that shot the Barrett 50 cal, and he physically moved back about 2 feet. There's a slight bit of kick on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, guns.
Yeah, I was thinking of like that sniper cannon thing from RoboCop that that Kurtwood Smith's character describes as state of the art, bang bang. That's what this couple was using, and they fired it I think 3 times, and every time they did, everybody at the range jumped because it was so loud. Even wearing hearing protection, it was so goddamn loud.
I mean, here like double hearing protection, like putting like actual ear plugs in and then putting muffs over.
Yeah.
Even then, like there's, if you're outside, there's a little bit of added bonus because at least it's dissipating everywhere. But like inside, there's some guys that are like that will shoot like 50 cal like desert. They'll bring a Desert Eagle because they're an asshole.
Yeah.
And then you'll just hear, when you're like, it's not even just hearing it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
When he goes off, you're like, God damn, dude.
Did I use a Desert Eagle? I might have used a Desert Eagle.
You know why? Because because no one buys a Desert Eagle to shoot it.
Right.
They buy a Desert Eagle as a statement piece going, yes. Because they saw, was it Snatched?
Yeah.
Snatched. Like, yours says replica on it. Mine says Desert Eagle .50.
See, I always think of one of the Tomb Raider games. It wasn't the
It wasn't the first. Did she use 50s? Or did she have 44s?
Oh, maybe in the later games, because I just recently played through the first game and like all the way through for the first time, finished it. One of the later games, it might even just be 2. You get a desert. 4. The Last Revelation.
4?
You get a Desert Eagle, but it is like one of the last guns you get in the game.
Okay.
It's definitely not one of the first ones. Like you go through the
I gotta say there's a plethora of guns that Lara Croft does use.
Yep.
Apparently she's well known for her H&K match pistols.
There's I think those that's like what you start with. And
Lara Croft HK USP 9 pistols, which obviously because she's rich enough, they're heavily modified.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm playing the 2013 reboot right now. I'm playing through that again. And that is such a, they really rebooted that. It's such a stark contrast. And like the whole point of that trilogy was to see her evolve from scared little bitch to like what you ultimately got in the original PlayStation games. battle hardened, no nonsense. And the cleavage, not a whole lot of it in that reboot, in that series. They toned down on it a bit. Like, she still got a rack on her, but that was the whole thing about the 90s era Lara Croft, was that the chest was quite ample
and quite angular.
Well, they were doing the thing like in Weird Science, like when the kids in Weird Science are building the girl and they just like keep using the computer to keep increasing the breast size. And I think it's like Anthony Michael Hall at one point says something like, you can't go too big or else you'll, fracture a bone in your wrist. And they I think Laura's breast size in the first Tomb Raider was created like by accident. They put a setting that made it too big, and they thought about it like, let's leave it. That will get people's attention.
I believe you're right. It was supposed to be like code number 6.2, and they did 62, and it was like, you know what? Fuck it, we're keeping it.
It worked.
As Bob Ross would say, that's a happy little accident.
Yeah, it worked. She was the first video game character to be a full-blown sex symbol. And this was after Samus from Metroid.
Yeah, yes. Because how many people still don't know Samus is a female?
Mm-hmm. Now it's not a secret, but back then it was like, because you had to get like the best ending of the game in order for her to take off the Zero suit. And you'd realize, oh shit, I've been playing as a chick this whole time. That was all based off of...
I don't know if I can handle that.
That was all based off the Alien franchise, by the way, but making the female character who fights aliens be a female. And I believe
as in Alien, I believe they wrote the script and he said all characters are interchangeable in terms of sex. There is no, this has to be a male character, this has to be a female character.
Yep. Interesting you say that. The character of Lambert, the only other female in the first movie, revealed in Aliens that she was transgender. Which is obviously point of contention now. But she was at birth, because, those movies are set far in the future. She was born a male, and like immediately after birth.
They did the instant, like, oh, we're going to choose this for you.
Yep. But that shows up when they're like going through, you can see on the screens, they're showing all the characters from the first movie, their personnel records. Yeah. And very briefly, you can see that Lambert was born.
Subject is
male at birth.
Yeah, something convert at birth, male to female. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Alien Isolation, by the way, Mike, very good game. If you again ever find time to play.
Stop trying to give me games, dude. I got one at a time, man. One at a time. Let's do Red Dead, okay? Let's do Grand Theft Horse first.
Okay. Have Nick play Alien Isolation. That'll keep him up for a week.
I already have trouble making sure he doesn't come down having a nightmare. So he had a nightmare last night, so
Jesus,
let's not do that again.
Yeah.
And this was not watching Alien.
He watched Captain Underpants and he had a nightmare about his principal.
Mr. Crab.
Yeah, dude, he's watching. I was at your house, man. Captain Underpants was on. I'm like, damn, man. When I was his age, I was reading these books.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. And it's so crazy to think about.
Good times with Captain Underpants.
I loved my friends and I growing up. It's either the second book or the third book about Professor Pippy P Poopy Pants. And has like a machine that would like create identities for people. And there was like a whole like 2-page like fold out thing where like, using your like the first letter of your first name and then like the last letter of the street that you live on, you could create your own like, character name, and a bunch of 10-year-olds like ourselves all giggling like absolute idiots because our names had like fart and butt in them.
Fart butt. Yeah, that's hilarious. This is going to stay funny forever. And let's be honest, farts have stayed funny forever.
And here I am nearing 35 years old and still taking furtive enjoyment in the concept of farts.
God damn, was that a lawnmower starting at the end of that?
Think you the shit, bitch? You not even the fault.
I gotta say, that was unexpectedly a hilarious line. What was that? Was that 3 years ago at this point? 4 years ago? How old is that one?
That lyric?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like only from like last year.
Was it last year? The year stretch, man. The year stretch.
That was this year, dude. That was Ice Spice. That was this year.
Really?
Yeah.
That was that recent.
January 26th.
Holy shit.
That's right, because Ice Spice had a moment.
Time is a construct, okay?
Dude, Ice Spice had a moment at the beginning of the year, and now I've completely forgotten about Ice Spice until I just played that drop. That's just how fast these things go. I bring up Alien Isolation. That is getting a sequel, finally. It was announced yesterday. It was the 10-year anniversary of the game, and then the film Alien Romulus, 10 out of 10. That's the reason why I replayed Alien Isolation, was because Romulus was so good. Creative Assembly, who developed Alien Isolation, said that the success of the long-term success of the first game, coupled with the reignited interest because of Alien Isolation, allowed them to finally get the sequel greenlit.
Oh, okay then.
That was such it holds up 10 years later, and it is such. Not only is it just a great horror game, there's just something about playing a slow-paced horror game in first person. And I don't play a lot of horror games too. I'm a bitch. I can't do Outlast, for example. I tried. I couldn't do it. I really do want to play the new Silent Hill remake, though.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
I'm a bitch.
But part of the other thing too is that Isolation is such a love letter to that first Alien movie. Like, they nailed the environment so well. So I hope that they could do the same thing with the sequel. There was like a pseudo sequel that was a mobile game that came out a few years ago, and with most mobile games, it shut down like a year later. So I don't know if that counts. But
I don't know. Mobile's always got kind of like gray area of like yes and no.
Mobile games like don't last. That's the problem. They come out and they have a shelf life, and then they get shut down. All the mobile games that I worked on,
especially if they're made by WB.
Yeah, all the mobile games I worked on at WB have all been shut down. Even the ones that we thought would be around forever have all been shut down. It's infuriating to think about, like, the amount of work that you put into something like that just to have it taken away from you. Like that is just the era in which we live now. But you'll like Red Dead Redemption, though.
I know that's gonna happen.
I forgot I had this in the board, by the way. If I may, I guess prematurely Danny Bonaducci.
Danny Bonaducci!
But the SpongeBob Krabby Patties at Wendy's, not looking like what you would think a Krabby Patty actually looks like.
Yeah.
Here's a review of it.
This is a load of barnacles.
Sounds about right.
All right, we can wrap up the show. But first, this.
This is the end.
Hardly focused.
The end.
Al Pacino, who, if you recall, is 84 years old and fathered a child last year, which is just disgusting to think about.
Yeah.
Like, so there's him. Didn't De Niro do the same thing?
I think De Niro was like at least a little bit younger.
And then Billy Joel, same deal.
Oh yeah.
84 though, that's way too old. Anything over 80. Like, you'll be lucky to live to see your kid go to kindergarten.
You'll be lucky to see your kid say kindergarten.
Yeah. I mean, we should be blessed that Al Pacino's still with us. But goddamn, dude.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Well, he is in the news because he did an interview on a show called The Interview.
Ah.
He has a new memoir out. It's called Sonny Boy. He's promoting that. And during the interview, he mentioned that he contracted COVID in 2020. Big shock.
Did he get 5G?
Yeah, his cell reception is absolutely phenomenal now. He says he was so sick he lost consciousness after coming down with a fever and becoming dehydrated. This coming from NBC News. Pacino says, Quote, I was sitting there at my house and I was gone. He snaps his fingers like that. I didn't have a pulse. But then he goes on to say he does not recall anything profound upon losing consciousness. He said in the podcast, quote, I didn't see the white light or anything like that. There's nothing there. Like,
it's the big one. They're taking me.
The moment that I knew that I had a perfect catch with Becky, that Becky was the one, as they say.
Is that she didn't try to kill you? I don't.
Is that I think it was at my friend Brittany's wedding where Becky was my date. And I think like I started coughing, like I like choked on something. I just started having a coughing fit. And Becky goes, it's the big one, Elizabeth. And I'm like, okay. I like you.
This is good. This is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't buy into that whole thing when people are like, oh, I saw a white light and I saw angels. I'm like, bitch, you're hallucinating. And you're probably on morphine, so you're in a morphine induced haze.
That's a good kind of haze, though.
Yeah, like you, the lights go out, man. That's what Bobby Bacala says in The Sopranos. It's you just don't know it's coming, and then all of a sudden the lights just go out. There's no fanfare. There's nothing. You just and him.
I was hoping for a post-credit scene.
It's always about that damn initiative. He comes up. He's like, I'm here to talk to you about the Scarface initiative. the Heat initiative.
Ooh.
It's like, Michael Mann, what are you doing here? Yeah. Pacino saying what I and everyone should just expect when you die in that there's nothing there. There is nothing to expect. It's like if you have surgery and they knock you out. Like 1 minute you're going into the operating room and next minute you're in recovery and like an hour has gone by. But it's really, it's like getting a good night's sleep. You just close your eyes and next thing you know, 8 hours have gone by. That's what it is. I don't buy into it when people talk about the near death experiences that they have and like what calms them down, what quells their concerns about death because they saw a bright white light. They saw angels. They saw the gates of heaven.
Well, it's because you need Jesus, okay?
Yeah, Jesus is a fallback. Jesus is a fallback on fear. That's what,
as they say, is religion the opiate of the masses?
I mean, literally, it's what calms people down from their fear of death, and it gets them to act good, to act like so they don't go to hell. It's like, guess what? Y'all have committed sins, whether you realize it or not. Y'all are going to hell. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I honestly believe that, like, I'm gonna say I'm a Buddhist. Like I got the belly of one.
Well, because Buddhism is more of a philosophy as opposed to a religion. So
okay, I do sort of believe in reincarnation, though. I don't know if I've shared that with you, Mike.
So you're more of a Hindu then? Maybe a little.
I just don't subscribe to any of their other beliefs. But like, I wouldn't be. I said this a few episodes ago that like I
do not feed Ganesh peanuts.
Principal Skinner and a teacher were in the closet, and he had many arms like Vishnu. They were all very busy. Notice I did not do an accent for that, unlike Mike. I don't want to cancel. But anyway, I said a few weeks ago, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I would like to think that my cat Bill he's got to be like a fallen relative of mine with the way he just follows me around. The fact that I can say his name and he comes running right over, like that's got to mean something. It can't just be I've lucked out and got a cat that's actually responsive and knows its name. It's got to be like my uncle or my grandmother or something, like now in the form of a cat.
Meow. Meow.
I didn't like you when I was alive, and I don't like you as a cat.
Meow.
That's why my couch is all scratched up. The couch that I have in the studio, like I'm going to keep that when I flip everything around and make my game room hybrid here. But I gotta get a cover for this couch because it's a scratching post now. Cats will do that. You buy cats,
They're assholes.
Mikey, I know you want cats. Just know that you could buy them all the scratching posts in the world, but
they won't use them.
No, they'll find something else that it becomes their scratching post. But I'd rather, at least it was this couch that my ex-wife bought, and not my expensive sectional couch in my living room. They haven't touched that.
Yeah, some taste, just personal preference, right?
They must have known. Don't fuck with that. Fuck with that, and he'll kill us.
I'll kill you.
Have you done the mass save home energy assessment?
Way back when I first bought the house, yeah.
So I finally had that done. And the guy who did it was very, very pleasant, but very like no nonsense, like just kind of almost robotic. But dude knew his shit. Like I would trust him, immediately trust him. And he was talking about like my living room and the placement of my sectional couch and airflow and all this, that, and the other thing. And then he just appends it with, if I may say, that is a very nice couch. And I'm like, I got him broke. I broke him. I got him to put the veil down a little bit. You dropped your guard. You are a person. I knew there was something underneath that exterior.
You do love us.
But hey, if you live in Massachusetts, you should do it. Because you know what I found out, Mike? It will cost me less than $550 to have a fuck ton of work done around my house. It will cost almost $3,000 without the rebates that they offer. Yeah, that's a really good deal. I just wish I were I wish I were a little poorer because then it'd be 100% free.
You're too rich for my blood.
I only qualified for 75%, but I'll take it. I'll happily spend.
It's better than nothing, right?
I'll happily spend $500 to get my attic re-insulated. Which, by the way, I saw my attic for the first time.
Really?
I've lived here for 8 years. I've never once set foot in my attic. Because there's
something you should probably do once in a while.
There's like no easy way to get into it. So I've just never tried.
One of those like 10 little tiny box, holes in the closet area that you gotta dig into.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that guy did and took photos for me, and he's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Wow, that's the cleanest part of the house." Only took 8 years. I was like standing there in amazement, like the little bit I could see after he moved the what he said was just a piece of painted plywood aside.
Which, it always is. Yeah.
He's like, we can put an actual like hinged door here if you'd like, free of charge. And I'm just staring into the abyss like, that's my attic. That's what my attic looks like. Hey, Ma, I have an attic. What do you have? Oh, right. I got to play it safe with my commentary there. I had to stop myself just now. Okay, there we go. That is it. Mike, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's crazy.
And for the rest of you, thank you for listening. Register to vote, vote.org. You can check to see if you're registered, and if you aren't, and you're legally...
If they pulled you off of the active registry.
If you're legally able to vote in the union, please do it. Please make sure you're registered because it's coming up fast. It's less than a month away.
Yep.
I think we're in, at least in Massachusetts, the absentee ballot. I think you have until the 29th of October to get that.
Let me look right here.
Oh, there you go. Your vote by mail application.
Yep. Let's see. Your vote by mail application must be reached your local election office by October 29th at 5 p.m.
There you go.
Otherwise, you will have to vote in person. The place we vote is a basement of a church, and my God, I've never spent more than a minute waiting. It's like
same
instant. I walk in, hey, here's my name. All right, thanks, bye.
Same.
That's it.
That is exactly it for me. It's right around the corner. Very rarely is there ever a wait. And it was even quicker the last time I went to vote because I was actually now registered as a member of a party and not a comical political affiliation.
Oh, I'm still unenrolled.
For the first time, they actually handed me a ballot without asking, which ballot do you want?
Oh, that's the thing. That's why I can choose whenever I need to.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Massachusetts, for letting me do that, not being forced into a specific location there.
I mean, maybe I'll switch back to maybe not the pizza party, but something ridiculous after this election cycle. I just want to make sure I'm taking this one seriously, as you all
What party is Vermin Supreme part of?
Oh, that's a really good question. Vermin Supreme. Libertarian.
Oh, he's libertarian, really? Huh. Thought he'd be like more nuts.
Well, Libertarian Party's Judicial Committee. He's part of that.
Oh, okay.
But he is he campaigned for the Libertarian Party's 2020 presidential nomination. You know how fucking sad things are is when that dude came in third place in the New Hampshire primary.
Oh, yeah. Because New Hampshire knows this guy's going to give me a pony.
Right. Hey, I appreciate, and unfortunately it backfired from Walter Mondale, but I appreciate any political candidate that just straight up tells you I will not hold up any of my promises. Like that dude, he was just so blunt, and I appreciated that. And I support anyone whose campaign platform is built entirely on zombie awareness.
Hey, it's going to happen. You've had to be aware.
To our Florida listeners, stay safe. We will talk at you next time. See ya. Bye.
Goodbye.
May not have happened. This has been a presentation of the Solid Listen Podcast Network.